Welcome back to the Bad Pipes podcast. Today is May 23rd. My name is Andrew Weaver. With me today is the effervescent
Scott
Gregory.
Kelly. Don't use my government name.
Scott Kelly. All right. Let's just hop right into the fucking news.
News. Are we getting right into... We're going to do Disney first?
I mean, I feel like it's only Disney news because...
That's fair. Star Wars, Disney, they go hand in hand.
Well, I mean, it's like if the dumpster's on fire, you know.
Yeah.
The fire is fun.
Yeah. So, Galactic Star Cruiser is no more.
More accurately, it's shutting down September 30th. Or September 30th is their last voyage.
Last voyage. Well, I mean, when a voyage is $4,000... Wait, wasn't it like $6,000 for 2 nights?
It's $4,000 to $6,000 for 2 nights.
For 2 nights.
And I don't even know if it's necessarily like 2 nights. It's like 44 hours or something like that when you do the math.
Yeah. Well, and I'm like, first of all, the average person can't afford that. It's for your quite wealthy Star Wars fans. But on top of that, it's like, I feel like once you do it once, it's probably the same shit over and over again.
Yeah, I've heard that they pretty much only had the one program they were doing. Yeah. And very recently, like within the past month or so, they had been doing training to expand on that. And about a week into that, they found out kind of at the same time we did that that it was going to be shutting down September 30th. So a lot of those employees were like gearing up to do more with it. And then...
yeah, they're just like, yeah, we're shutting it down.
Again, their fucking ankles hacked out from under them.
Yeah. I just don't think... The other thing was, from what I'd heard, it's like a whole lot of interactive theater. And I just don't feel like they probably did a fantastic job with it.
I mean, it sounded... I mean, the way everyone jokes about it, like rips on it, is they go, "Oh, paying $4,000 to $6,000 to LARP for a weekend," and that does kind of feel like what it is.
But it's like, here's my if you were to like actually let me like Star Wars LARP, like if you were to like have me pay, I get to stay in this thing and like live out like, I don't know, like go into war or something. Like, actually, like some sort of laser tag Clone Wars bullshit.
If you say like again, my head's gonna
pop. Yes.
No, like, I get you. Like,
no. That's what I mean, is give me, let me go fight.
I just don't have any interest in it, because it's post original trilogy. It's supposed to be taking place...
Oh, that's right. That's true, too.
I think before this sequel trilogy. And there's just nothing in that time period that interests me. Like, in general, they've made a lot of goofy decisions as far as the park attractions and the use of Star Wars. What's the outpost thing called? You know what I'm talking about?
The what?
The like outpost part, like the Star Wars part of the park now.
Like
Galaxy's Edge.
Oh yeah, Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge.
That takes place on Batuu. It's Rey's world.
Yeah, that's stupid. They should have done
Tatooine.
Well, I mean, they could have done Tatooine.
Or literally anywhere else.
Indoor would have worked too, and they could have had it be like in the woods. We live in Florida; it's pretty woodsy around here. Even if that is the swamp out there.
I was like, even if you're gonna do a desert outpost, do fucking Mos Eisley. Like, why are we doing?
Yeah.
Anything but that.
Yeah.
Give me aliens in the cantina. I want.
And like make the cantina massive, like German beer hall at Epcot massive.
Because they, So have you been to Galaxy's Edge?
When am I rich?
I'm not rich. I've been to Galaxy's Edge.
Richie Rich over here.
I went to Galaxy's Edge, and that was my biggest gripe. Was like,
did you buy the lightsaber?
No, because here's the thing. I tried to. You go there, and now everything Disney, and like I've heard they might be moving away from this now, but like when you go to a Disney park now, everything is like you got to have a reservation. So it's like you got to reserve your spot. You can do that from the app in the park. So like you can go on the app and go reserve your spot. You can do that day of. Now the problem is, you go try to do that day of, you're not gonna get to do day of. You can't do it next day either. You got to book it out like 2 fucking months in advance. So you got to know you're like for sure what you want to do. Like this is for the upper middle class soccer moms who plan out their entire Disney adventure for their kids.
Yeah, I'm not even like that in general.
That's what I'm like. I went there and just like spur of the moment, I was like, I'll do the lightsaber. Like I have the extra money. I'll go do the lightsaber experience, but I couldn't.
I'm the kind of guy that's like, it's a Sunday. I got to work Monday. You know what? I think I will drive up to St. Augustine today.
But here's the other problem. And this is where it comes back to like what you just said with the cantina. Like it's not just for like the like little like the lightsaber experience, the droids, and like for fucking it's the rides or whatever. So the ride when I went there, they had the newer ride that had come out, but you had to reserve your spot in line well in advance, or you weren't going to get to go on the ride. And I didn't do that, so I got to go on the one ride. I've never been on the second one, and then it's also for any of the sit down restaurants or anything. So like the bar they have there, couldn't do that.
You have to make reservations to sit at a bar?
Yeah, you have to make just to even go inside of it. Like you have to have a reservation well in advance, like 2 months in advance to do it.
Good Lord.
So I didn't know what I wanted to do when I went there. I was just going in blind, just have a good time. But didn't get to do, I got to go around and do some of the stuff and look at the things.
Raw and just coming out fucked.
Yeah.
You silly goose. You should have known better.
I got to go to the stores. They were cool. The products were cool. I got to have some of the milk.
The blue milk?
Yeah, and I had them throw some fucking alcohol in that shit to drown my sorrows because I couldn't get into the cantina.
Alcoholic blue milk?
You're damn right I did. I don't even remember if it was... they have the blue and the green. I don't remember which one was better.
Well, green's from what? The Last Jedi?
Yeah. But...
He's like milking them sea creatures and then it looks back at it.
Yeah.
At Rey.
It's some sort of fruit smoothie sort of thing. But that brings me to your point is like, why didn't you just do a giant ass cantina so that you could fit so many more people in it?
Well, the thing is they have no recognizable locations in the sequel trilogy, but they want to do all of their stuff because otherwise they got to like pay royalties probably to
trash
to George.
You're the biggest fucking company in the world. Just pay up. Give me what I want.
They do, which is insane. They pay a shit ton for this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, as far as I know, the budget for building and like operating, like all of the startup costs for this fucking Galaxy's, what's it called again? Galactic Star Cruiser was like close to $1 billion.
Yeah.
To like build the building, put all the tech in there to make it look Star Wars-y.
Which we can use that to segue into the next point, which was another $1 billion expansion is now out the window.
Yeah, because Disney and DeSantis are having
Because Disney and DeSantis are, who apparently also DeSantis tomorrow is announcing his 2024 bid for
on Twitter
president.
In a talk with Elon Musk.
Yeah.
What a fucking joke, dude.
Two of the worst fucking people.
I was having a talk with someone literally yesterday, about like DeSantis, because I'm not liberal, I'm not conservative, I'm very much in the middle.
Yeah.
Because I'm a normal fucking human being that's like, oh, here's an issue. This one issue has several points of view that need to be taken into consideration before you make a judgment on what's the best steps to take in regards to this issue, right? And so I even got into the mathematics of it, right? Let's say there's 350 million people in America. Mm-hmm. We have a two-party system. That means that on every single issue, there's an A or a B. Party 1 takes A, Party 2 takes B. Mm-hmm. You're going to try and tell me that in our elections, which are typically pretty close to 50-50, 175 million people on a broad smattering of issues are all voting for the same thing.
Yeah.
And that they are being represented by one person. And the same thing for the other side.
Yeah.
Like, mathematically, that's fucking insane.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, pretty much all of them are all paid chills. They're all like, it just really doesn't matter what we're doing because there's so much money.
That's how I feel.
There's so much money revolving around that space that like everyone's bought and paid for by someone, and the little people like us don't matter.
You certainly don't. Let's get to some other news, though. Let's see. Oh, here we go. The live-action Little Mermaid is getting released this week. Have you looked at the early reviews for it?
I have not.
All right, so 71% of critics, according to Rotten Tomatoes, think this is a good movie. But then you click the tab for top critics, and it's got a 45%.
Oh, no.
So I'm really wondering what audiences are going to think with this because they have not been generous to these live-action movies they've been putting out.
Yeah.
And then I was even reading an article today where I don't know if it was like the writer was blatantly shilling or if they were just taking a clickbaity kind of stance with their article, but they went... They said all of the complaints about the new Little Mermaid movie are that they race swapped the mermaid, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be honest with you. Everyone that I've seen complaining about this movie online have been complaining that A, it looks dark and it's not very colorful like the cartoon originally was. B, they don't like how the CGI animals look, the crab and the flounder and whatnot. They say they look like they have dead eyes.
Didn't they change? I heard they changed Sebastian to a fucking, like, he's a crab, right? Or no, he's a lobster. No, he's a crab.
No, he was always a crab.
Was he a crab? Or no, I thought they changed him.
But
I thought
now,
they changed him.
Instead of whatever kind of crab he was, I think he's a different looking crab. I don't know. You know?
Okay. Maybe I'm just fucking crazy.
Probably. All right. More news. I don't know if you're aware of this, but Dimension 20 is doing a follow-up campaign to the Crown of Candy campaign.
I did not know.
So
I've never watched through Crown of Candy.
So Crown of Candy was real fun because it's basically Candyland, the board game, meets
D&D.
Game of Thrones.
Oh.
Yeah, not D&D, I would say.
Well, I mean, yeah. But it is D&D. They're playing D&D.
They are playing D&D.
But yes, theme-wise, Candyland, Game of Thrones crossover.
It's a much, like, lower fantasy kind of game, though. So, like, people die. Like, in the first campaign, spoiler alert, one of the main party's characters dies in, like, I think the first 2 episodes. Like, yeah, no holds barred for that series. But Brennan Lee Mulligan, my boy,
Bestian,
he's playing in the game.
Oh.
Just take a guess who you think is running the game.
Oh, I think I heard this. Is it Matthew Mercer coming in to run it?
Mercer, yeah.
Be interested to see how this goes.
I watched the first 2 episodes. Third one comes out tomorrow.
Is it good?
I've been loving it. Yeah.
See, that's my thing is, I'm curious to see how Matt Mercer is getting away from Critical Role, because I feel like that's a very, like,
dude, he was great
in Critical Role.
Critical Role is good.
It is. No, don't get me wrong. It can't hold my attention.
Stuff. Yeah, I was about to say they keep all the stuff in there that usually bores me.
Yeah.
I don't have any issue with it though, because then whenever you condense it and you put it in like a TV show like Vox Machina on Amazon or whatever, that's great. And I've been saying for forever that I really wish they would make a Critical Role abridged series where it is edited down, because I'd probably listen to that.
Yeah, I think that was my biggest problem is sometimes it just feels like a little dry to me, because it's like it's very like, this is D&D. It feels like it in and of itself feels like a very like run of the mill, like this is what a D&D campaign is, versus like you go into like the first Dimension 20 campaign with Fantasy High. There's a lot of comedy and humor mixed into it, and it's very
but
kind
that's
of out
also
there.
the difference between having a bunch of comedy writers and
That's true, yeah.
like sketch writers
Versus the
playing
voice
the game
actors
versus voice actors, right?
That's fair.
There's a certain gravitas that you're going to expect from voice actors that you're not going to expect from comedy writers.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with either of those. I've run campaigns of both variety. I think the way that Critical Role is just I have issues holding my attention to that versus like Dimension 20.
Yeah.
So, but no, I'll have to watch through
straight
or
up.
listen through the Crown of.
There was a joke
Crown of Candy.
that he snuck into the end of the, like, first off, it is full of jokes. It is very much a Dimension 20 campaign. God, I'll be honest with you. I'm so jealous of Brennan for like getting to play in a game that's set in a world that he made, you know?
Oh yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah. And to have someone who's going to like respect the world and put the work into making that game still good and respectful to the original property and doing something new.
I'll have to listen. I think I started the first one.
I don't know if
on
the
one of my road
full
trips.
campaign is up on YouTube or not, but
I have Dropout.
yeah, Dropout. Yeah, yeah, man, fucking watch through it.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. I've got another 18-hour drive coming up. So maybe do it
Gross.
there.
Gross. Another little thing that I just thought was like funny that's going on is that Film Threat, who I've brought up, I think a number of times, Chris Gore made Film Threat back in like the early 90s, I think, and he's just a film critic. That's what they do. But they have a website and a pretty popular YouTube channel. Chris Gore was also on G4 TV back in the day. But he's doing a weekly critics court for Star Wars. They're going through and both defending and prosecuting the treatment of Disney Lucasfilm's Star Wars. And I gotta admit, I've been pretty entertained because the whole premise of it was like, we're gonna do this as like low budget and kind of jank as possible so that it like matches how filming regular court cases, like the court stuff, you know. You know how it's like someone's mic will be like buzzing in these videos of people in court, or like someone will be talking and they're like muted and everyone's like, you're muted, just try coming back in. So it's like, it's got that jank, but it's also every week they have a different issue, right? So it'll be like Disney Lucasfilm betrayed the Star Wars canon, right? And then you'll have the prosecution and you'll also have the defense, and both of them get like 40 minutes and they'll go back and forth. Yeah. And so it's playing out like a court case would, but the judge is Chris, and he's gotten like a bunch of different YouTube people, personalities and whatnot, to act as defense or prosecution. Yeah. So it's a fun little thing that's going on right now. I think this is this might be week 3 of it. I think they've been doing those on, I think, Wednesdays. So you can watch those live, or you can watch the recordings of them. So it's just something that's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of dour news here, though. Sunday, May 21st, 20 and 23. Ray Stevenson.
I did see that.
He died of illness in Italy, in a hospital in Italy.
Yeah.
If you're unfamiliar with Ray, he was Titus Pullo in HBO's Rome. He was, I think his character in the new Ahsoka show was like Balon Shen or something like that.
Yeah.
God,
He was in
dude.
Thor. He was in The Punisher.
He was in Thor. He was in the second Punisher movie. He played Firefly in one of those G.I. Joe movies that came out like 10 years ago.
Yeah. He was 58.
58. So young.
Yeah.
So young in today's years.
Oh, definitely.
And he looked healthy, man. He was also in RRR.
Oh, yeah.
I never saw it, but everyone speaks highly of it.
I've heard it's really good. It's on my list.
Yeah. Just kind of like blew my mind because the first time I really noticed him was watching Rome, because his character was my favorite character. And after that, anytime he popped up in a movie or something, I was like overjoyed. I just love seeing that dude and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't even recognize him in the Ahsoka trailer. So knowing that he's in it now, I am a little bit more excited for it and a little bit more disappointed, because if he isn't like killed off in
Oh, yeah. That's
first
tough.
season
They're
or
either going to
so,
recast him or he just fades,
yeah,
which is always iffy. They'll be pulling like a Game of Thrones, like or
they'll
fucking
fake him or something.
Dario Naharis. Looks totally fucking different
Oh,
from one season to another.
yep.
And the mountain.
Final news.
Finally.
Indiana Jones 5, Dial of Destiny. They showed it at the Cannes Film Festival.
Really?
You want to know what the critic score's sitting at right now for it?
Yeah. Trash.
My notes say 49%.
Yeah. Sounds about right. Let it die. Let it die. Let the series die. We didn't need it.
Oh shit, I had one more. I wanted to go on a little rant about Kathleen Kennedy real quick.
Okay.
So we haven't seen each other, you and I. For our audio listeners, I'm pointing a finger
It's been
back
like
and forth
3
between
weeks.
Scott and I. Yeah, so we haven't seen each other since like I think the beginning of the month or maybe even earlier.
Yeah. I think earlier.
So Kathleen Kennedy continues to say stupid shit in articles.
Yeah.
I actually mentioned this, I think, whenever I was recording with Isaac. So a quote from an article, from an interview on May 4th. She said, "We need to eventize future Star Wars releases." And she compared it to like the James Bond releases. Like, oh, James Bond gets a release like every 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
That's how we should be releasing Star Wars. Let me go through a little timeline for you real quick. 1977, first Star Wars comes out. 3 years later, Empire Strikes Back. 3 years later, Return of the Jedi. So 3 years between each of those movies.
Yeah.
You can also probably infer that it was probably about a three-year production period for the first Star Wars as well.
Yeah.
Phantom Menace, 1999. 3 years. Attack of the Clones, 2002. 3 years. Revenge of the Sith, 2005. So, pretty, like clockwork.
Yeah.
Lucasfilm gets officially purchased December 4th, 2012. About 3 years. 2015, Force Awakens comes out. 2016, Rogue One. 2017, Last Jedi. 2018, Solo. 2019, Rise of Skywalker.
Yep.
In 4 years, there was 4 years between Force Awakens coming out and Rise of Skywalker coming out. Is that not fucking insane? Also, I finally looked into some of the budget stuff for this. Solo had a reported budget of $275 million and made less than $500 million. I did not know that it flopped that hard.
Damn.
Especially whenever you consider that the reported budget is just to make the movie. And usually what we've been finding out now is that they're spending between $250 to $300 million to promote these movies worldwide.
Huh.
So there's a good chance that they not only did not make money on Solo, but they fully lost money on Solo. Especially whenever you remember that there were so many like production hell type issues where they kicked the directors off. They had to have script rewrites. They had Ron Howard come in and apparently shoot between half to 2/3 of the movie again, as well as like extravagant methods of like shooting the film. So they were doing like 3 different camera angles of every single shot so that Lucasfilm, higher ups in Lucasfilm, could look at every single shot and basically choose which one went in. At that point, why do you even have a director?
Yeah.
You could have a fucking lackey go, action, cut, do it again, but faster this time, action, cut, do it again, but slower this time, action, cut. Okay, do it. But maybe think about how your character feels. Action, cut. Okay. like what role is the direct? Like, what artistic vision are you filling at that point? If someone else is like, I don't know, man. So yeah, we need to eventize Star Wars. We should be doing like 3 to 4 year releases between movies, kind of like James Bond does.
Yeah. Well, we can compare that to Revenge of the Sith.
You want to get into that Revenge of the Sith review?
Well, just to start out,
all right.
$167 million budget. The lowest of the prequel trilogy.
Really?
Yes.
That's very interesting.
Lowest of the prequel trilogy, and generated $1.233 billion in revenue.
Wow, that's a smash hit.
Yep.
Even if you put a $300 million marketing budget on
though
that.
None of them even come close to A New Hope, which $51 million to produce, the lowest of any Star Wars, and with the highest revenue at $3.63 billion.
Wow. I wonder if that is including like all the times that they have re-released it.
I'm assuming, because like the next closest is The Force Awakens, and it is
like
still
2.0 something
2.47.
Yeah.
So A New Hope is still $1 billion in revenue over The Force Awakens in second.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And you know what's funny too is there are articles from like 2018 where they talk about how Disney has already recouped their the price they paid for Lucasfilm, right? Because 2018 they had gotten like off of Force Awakens, Rogue One. Where's my list? Force Awakens, Rogue One, Last Jedi, and I guess you can include Solo in that because that's 2018. They had made approximately $4 billion at that point, which is what they paid about for Lucasfilm. I don't know what ding dong writer would say that that's a recoup of their what they paid, though, because if you look at the budgets for this stuff, they probably put another billion and a half dollars into like making those movies.
Yeah.
Not to mention marketing them, you know? So I don't know, man. Like, media, these writers are just like ding-dongs, man. I legitimately having been looking for like a stupid little writing gig for a little bit now. Like, I do not get how these fucking morons get jobs writing articles.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like they don't do any fucking research. It's insane to me. If you're like a magazine writer, right? Like you're a writer for Variety or something like that, where you're getting lined up with interviews with celebrities and things, I get you having that job. But the guy who's writing for like some ding-dong website fucking saying that like, oh, Disney's already made back the money that they spent on Lucasfilm because Lucasfilm has made $4 billion across these movies without taking into account whatsoever what they paid to make the movies. Blows my mind, man. Blows my mind.
All right. Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
Also,
yes,
the highest rated of the prequel trilogy.
Really? By audiences or critics?
Both, it looks like.
Wow.
Yep. So it is actually the only one in the positive for audience at a 66, which is considered fresh enough. Whereas Phantom Menace is a 59, Attack of the Clones was 56. The only critic certified fresh of the prequel trilogy at 79%.
Wow, that's higher than I thought critics would give it.
Yes, 51 for Phantom Menace, 65
so
for Attack of the Clones.
Something I didn't know about this one was that apparently Tom Stoppard, if you've ever heard his name, he did and these are his words, light polish on the screenplay. So he doesn't have a writing credit, but apparently he looked over the script for George and did a, quote, light polish on it.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Tom Stoppard is, the dude's legendary. He's an absolutely legendary playwright. British playwright. I didn't know that. Which, whenever you listen to the dialogue in this movie, it is head and shoulders over Attack of the Clones. Like, Attack of the Clones, I had mentioned what was going on with this movie. Why are there so many dad jokes? Why are there so many like puns and things like that? And then this movie has a much different tone, like a very serious, takes itself serious kind of tone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was just something I didn't know about it and kind of blew me away. I think that out of the three prequels, this one definitely uses CGI to its best effect.
Yeah, agreed.
But I still don't get why every single clone is CGI. Which is funny because saying that they use the CGI to best effect is they would use the CGI on the clones who you could have made PVC armor for them pretty fucking cheap and quickly with a team of like 5 or 6 prop guys. The Wookiees are all legit. None of the Wookiees are CGI. And whenever you think about why, it's because CGI fur would have looked fucking terrible for the technology of the time.
Yeah.
So you can get away with doing the plasticky looking armor in CGI, but you could not have gotten away with doing hair. And I think you see that with Yoda, because Yoda, he doesn't look terrible in this movie, but he is like entirely CGI, and he looks like a little green man for most of the movie. Kind of watching this with my critic brain on. It's an interesting story, and that Palpatine manipulates Anakin through not only his flaws, but also what people would typically call strengths. So he doesn't just use his pride to manipulate him, but he also uses his compassion, which I found interesting. Especially in that scene with Mace Windu standing over him with the lightsaber being like, he's a traitor. And then Palpatine being like, he's a traitor. And then Windu's like kind of pushing the edge. And you get the feeling that Palpatine is kind of hamming it up and being like, he's killing me. And then Anakin responds through compassion partially to be like, no, don't kill him. I need him, you know? So like it's a nuanced necessity for him to live. And it's a little bit of that hypocrisy and that duality in Anakin to be like, yeah, I killed Dooku earlier, but now here's a guy that I think I need, and I'm not going to let you kill him. I also wrote that there's a very strong theme of delusion in this movie. So people kind of constantly and willfully overlook inconvenient truths. For example, the pregnancy, the pretty blatant manipulation of Anakin by both Jedi and Sith. I mean, Padme specifically has that line about being blinded by love. Mm-hmm. And it's got an irony to it because she's the one who's blinded by love. It gets to the point where Obi-Wan shows up and is like, he killed younglings. And she's like, no, not Anakin. Yeah. Anakin couldn't have done that. Meanwhile, last movie, I killed them all, not just the men, but the women and the children too. I slaughtered them like animals, he says, you know? Yeah. Like, you're the one person in the world that knows that Anakin 100% would do that.
Yep. And she just doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, she's blinded by love to the man that Anakin
I mean,
has become.
It's a love story. He'll do anything for her, including saving Palpatine, and she'll turn an eye to him murdering children.
Yeah. So I felt that a major weakness of this one is that we haven't really had much establishment of Anakin as a, like, not just a good guy, but like a hero, right?
Yeah.
He starts the movie off murdering people, and he ends it murdering people. Where he left off in Attack of the Clones feels almost the exact same as the character that we start with in this one, except that he's more capable. So end of the movie, Attack of the Clones, he's very emotional. He loses the fight to Dooku and is nearly destroyed by it.
It's almost like all of the stuff he does in the Clone Wars cartoon really establishes him as kind of a hero. Like someone who's done all this stuff, but it's like we don't get any of that context within the movies.
Yeah.
Which is kind of lame.
Yeah, I'd written that he's ruled by his emotions, and that feels the same here. Kind of going hand in hand with that, a common complaint with this one is that Anakin's turn is too quick. I'm inclined to agree, kind of because of that, that point above. I almost feel like the fix to this would have been to have another movie before this one.
That was what I was thinking.
If you've seen Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, this movie is significantly better. I will say that. Which is a weird time in fandom to be like, oh, well, if you had watched the like hour and a half of cartoon episodes before this movie actually is a lot better because you see a lot of that character development. So you understand the Anakin starting this movie a little bit better.
So I was like, you almost could have done it. It's like in today's world, if they were making these movies under like the Disney umbrella, I feel like it would have been like, here's 3 movies about Anakin's come up. Here's 3 movies that are all of the Clone Wars.
It would
And
have
here's
been
3 movies
what
about
they're
his
trying
downfall.
to do with
Yeah.
The Filoni-verse stuff with like,
Yeah.
we're giving you probably 5 seasons
Which
of Mandalorian.
it's
and then
almost
we're gonna
like-
give you 2 or 3 other shows, and then we're
Yeah.
going to give you the movie. And if you've watched all of the extracurricular stuff, the movie will be better and make sense to you.
Yeah. But it's almost like this is a better plot and like more like if they had done this, I would have liked it better than anything they're coming out with now, where it's like, here's 3 movies on Anakin coming up to the 3 movies about the Clone Wars, and then it's literally his downfall after. Yeah. And it's like, I think you could have done that, and I think it probably would have turned out pretty well versus what the fuck they're doing now, which I don't really know what they're doing now.
They're doing a Rey movie, and it takes place 15 years after.
Because I really fucking care about Palpatine's fucking I don't
Order.
give a shit about Palpatine's
she
granddaughter.
Luke that she was going to rebuild the Jedi Order. When? When did she do that? So back to that point. I think this is the first example within fandom of the necessity of viewing the extracurricular shows detracting from the value of the main product, right?
Yeah.
So this movie is not as good if you haven't watched the Tartakovsky Clone Wars show. Whereas if you have watched the Tartakovsky Clone Wars show, the movie's actually better.
Yeah, you get a new appreciation for it.
So I would almost argue that our generation, who were kids when this was coming out, got more out of this movie when it came out because we had watched those Clone Wars shorts, whereas adults didn't, so they got less out of it, which is why people a generation ahead of us tend to think less of the prequel trilogy than like you and I probably do.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And maybe even younger generations.
Yeah.
And I feel like that ultimately is the issue that modern Star Wars has butt up against. It's all all extracurricular now. There is no central plot or theme to any of it. Kind of like I had mentioned before, the Filoni-verse is just kind of like endlessly incestuous, and like progressively less value is coming out of it. And regardless of whether or not you agree with me on that, I think that you can look at the dropping viewership and the audience and critical scores for the episodes and for the seasons of these shows that are coming out, and you can see that there is some truth to that statement. And unfortunately, I think that all of that started with this movie and how it coupled with the Clone Wars show.
Yeah.
I do think that the interconnectedness of it all can make a very loyal fan base, but I think that fan base is going to be small because it's like the very dedicated nerd types who are like, oh, I'm going to read every book, I'm going to watch every cartoon, I'm going to, like those kinds of people. Not that there's anything wrong with those kinds of people. I think that some of my favorite friends within fandom and other stuff have been those kinds of people. But it will make entering the fandom overwhelming for new fans. And, I don't know. Like that's kind of how I felt at the end of this movie, where I was like, oh, watching this again really just makes me want to go back and rewatch the Indy Tartakovsky Clone Wars show.
Yeah, I feel like I need to go through and watch it.
Because, like, Grievous in that cartoon is a menace. He's scary.
Yeah.
His depiction in the live action is a lot less menacing. Like, when he drops his cloak to pull the lightsabers out and fight Obi-Wan, he looks small, which is perhaps a perspective issue with the CGI.
Yeah.
But he looks like a little guy. And
just a little guy?
Yeah, whereas, like, he looks like a hulking brute in the Clone Wars cartoon.
Yeah.
And I want to say that even Filoni's Clone Wars do him more justice than that live action movie did.
Yeah.
I will say, hearing prime James Earl Jones at the end of this one was pretty great.
Yeah.
and not the like computerized, computer-assisted, AI-assisted James Earl Jones voice from like
definitely.
Obi-Wan.
Definitely.
Have I complained before about how the title card on like Disney Plus or whatever for the Kenobi show looks like he has what's the fucking bounty eyes called? What are they called? The stick-on eyes?
Googly eyes?
Yeah, it looks like he has fucking googly eyes. Like, look at it at a distance, right? And like the overall image of the thing, and it looks like it's Obi-Wan Kenobi with googly eyes.
Yeah.
Because like the sun and his outline in the sun looks like one eye, and then like the other side is like half of his face. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That's funny.
It's just bad art.
Oh yeah.
Which is a little ironic because then you watch the show and you're like, oh, this is also bad art. Like, Kenobi in this show feels like he has googly eyes. Yeah. I gotta be honest. I don't want to watch the sequels.
No?
I don't. Maybe I'm just like feeling burned out because of all the announcements and shit that's going on right now, and just thinking about how like disappointed I am that they don't inject new blood into this dying beast to keep it alive. They just keep like pumping the same blood through over and over and over again and going like, why isn't the disease dying?
Yeah. That, I don't know. Well, I mean, oh, yeah, I guess we do. We do start with the, because I forgot we're doing it cinematic. We're doing it cinematic release.
Yeah.
I was going to say, otherwise we'd have some other stuff we could watch.
Yep. Could watch the Ewok movies.
The Ewok movies?
The Ewok movies. Was it Caravan of Courage, I think? I forget what the other one is.
Yeah. Shit.
I got a question for you.
Yep.
Switching topics now.
Okay.
Kind of. What's your favorite Indiana Jones movie? It's a trick question because you told me yesterday, and I'm going to out you right now. It's Crystal Skull. And
No,
I just want
fucking
everyone to know
not.
that Scott's favorite Indiana Jones movie is Crystal Skull.
No, it's not.
Because he said he sees himself in Shia LaBeouf. Carnally.
God, what is that guy doing right now?
Shia LaBeouf?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm probably getting sued for Me Too and something.
God. I don't even remember. Raiders of the Lost Ark is the first one, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Temple of Doom for sure.
For real?
Yeah.
Did you know that's a prequel to Raiders?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. Which is funny because you know who was I believe an executive producer, and if not executive producer, a producer on it?
Who?
Kathleen Kennedy. Would you like to know a quote she made about it one time? She said, "The second movie in a trilogy always has a darker tone. Like, look at Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It's a prequel, you fucking idiot."
I just it had to be Temple of Doom because of the one dude.
Kali Ma.
Yeah.
What is it? It's like Kali Ma Shaktame or something. Shaktame.
Because he's the one he
Reaches into the
Reaches
dude's chest
in.
and pulls his heart out.
pulls the heart out.
And then they lower his body into lava. And you're like, what
Yeah.
the fuck is going on?
Fuck yeah,
And they eat
super
the-
metal.
They eat the chilled monkey brains.
I honestly I can't. I just remember that. It's like that's why that's my favorite
Okay.
favorite movie. It stuck with me.
All three of the first ones are good.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I have them all on DVD.
DVD.
I do.
What are you, a fucking boomer?
Fuck. basically.
Yeah, so are you excited for the Dial of Destiny?
Yeah, it's going to be my favorite.
So I had told you that they played at the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah.
Apparently people were talking during the movie in French. Because Cannes is in French.
Yeah.
Frenchland. So here's a little thing. Here's some little trivia for you. The release date for this fine film is June 30th. It's got a nearly 2.5-hour runtime. Directed by James Mangold, who also directed 3:10 to Yuma, Logan, Ford versus Ferrari, Walk the Line, right? So he's got a pretty good filmography for directing. It's got a reported budget of $294.7 million. That sounds like a lot of money to me.
Wikipedia just rounded up to 300 million.
Yes, I do. This movie was first announced in March of 2016 with a projected release date of July 19th, 2019. And it was originally announced that Spielberg would direct it, which Spielberg is the only guy who's directed any other.
In February 2020, Spielberg stepped down as director as he wanted to pass the film series to a new filmmaker for a fresh perspective.
I think that, if I'm being honest, I think this is one of those instances of creative differences that kept getting thrown around that time. And I think it's specifically with Kathleen Kennedy. Spielberg, in an interview in like 2015, and this is like, you can pull up the audio from this on YouTube.
Yeah.
In 2015, he's talking about Kathleen Kennedy, and he's like, the thing I remember about Kathy is that she was terrible at taking notes. She's the person who would like be in these meetings, supposed to be taking notes, and oh fuck no, what's he say? You can probably pull it up. But he goes, Kathleen Kennedy. The thing I remember is that she was terrible at taking notes, but she was really good at interrupting people mid-sentence. And she would say things like, what if he didn't get the girl, but he did get the dog?
I remember Kathy came into the room with her steno pad and her pencil, and she was horrible at taking notes, and she was terrible, and she didn't really know how to do it very well. But what she did know how to do was interrupt somebody in mid-sentence. We'd be pitching ideas back and forth, and Kathy, who's supposed to be writing these ideas down, suddenly put her pencil down and would say something like, and what if he didn't get the girl, but instead...
There it is.
Oh, man. So, I think this might be revenge, you know?
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy, I think she's getting revenge on Spielberg and George Lucas by taking their legacies and
shitting on them.
Not shitting on them, but full on sticking their head in the toilet and swirling them.
Yeah.
Not that they needed help with that. I mean, you look at Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I mean, it initially got pulled back because Spielberg was busy working on a fantastic fucking movie, Ready Player One.
Yeah, I was going to say Ready Player One.
I do enjoy that film.
There was something else he made around the same time.
The Post. Isn't there going to be a sequel to Ready Player One?
What, Ready Player 2?
I think so. Actually.
As of noon today, as I said before, with 37 reviews, Dial of Destiny is sitting at 49% on Rotten Tomatoes. That probably won't change much before release, unless Disney does what they usually do and they send their horde of like shill critics to bump the score up before release.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. This movie was written by the Butterworth brothers. Are you familiar with them?
Nope.
Me neither. John Henry and Jez, as well as David Cope, who wrote... David Cope actually has a pretty good filmography for his writing as well. but also written by James Mangold. So the thing is, though, Cope is the one who started off writing this script. Then they brought in James Kasdan, who also wrote Solo, a Star Wars story, and then that got catankered, and so he got removed from this. And around that time is when Spielberg got taken off and Mangold came on, so 2020. And Mangold, oh, where's the quote? I think I wrote down part of it. Mangold came in the script in 2020, and he said in an interview that he, this is an approximation of what he said, wanted to aggressively retool the script he had been given, pretty much all of it, which is interesting. Taking a script that had been getting worked on for apparently 4 years, and then spending, what, 2.5 years retooling it. Interesting bit about Cope. He did write Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but he's best known for Jurassic Park, Mission Impossible, Spider-Man, as directed by what's his name that did Evil Dead, and more. Like, the dude's got a long writing career. Jonathan Kasdan, who wrote Solo, a Star Wars story, also wrote that failed Willow show that came out, I think, earlier this year.
Yeah.
For Disney Plus, which is already being removed from the platform in the purge of content that they're doing.
Damn, that was quick.
Yeah, so that's going to be removed from the platform before the beginning of next year. That's pretty much all the production details I've got on this. From the outside looking in, this looks like production hell. This looks like a very troubled production. I mean, like I said before, 4 years to write a script that then gets quote heavily retooled, and shot during COVID, switching directors, switching writers. They take it to Cannes and it gets a rotten score that's going to sit there for a month and a half before this thing fucking comes out.
Yep.
Before audiences can even touch it. And then, like I said, I'm still waiting for the Disney shill critics to review bomb this up into something marginally positive, like what usually happens.
Yeah.
An example, Peter Pan and Wendy and Little Mermaid, and most of the Marvel movies. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm a little frustrated here because I grew up loving those Indiana Jones movies. I remember stories my parents would tell me that in Raiders of the Lost Ark, when it got to the point where they opened the Ark and the will of God or whatever that is starts melting the Nazis' faces, I would start laughing, apparently. I thought that was just the funniest thing.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
Apparently, when I was real young, I was a kind of demented kid because watching the Alien movies as well, my parents said that I would start laughing when the alien would kill people.
Damn. Entertainment, true entertainment.
So yeah, that's a window into my psyche, I guess. I also remember being 4 years old and being my kind of future stepbrother at the time being over and being oh, let's watch a movie. What movie are you going to watch? And then me being let's watch this, Alien. And then his mom, my eventual stepmom, being Ryan can't watch movies that are rated R. And I was what?
Fucking lame.
Being 4 years old and just having no concept whatsoever of what
Ratings.
Kids should or shouldn't be doing. And then also my parents having already been exposing me to stuff like that.
Yeah.
My dad actually kind of a fucking real one when you think about it.
Dude, your dad's always been a real one.
My dad kind of a real one. Dad, kind of based.
What else we got? We can do a little AI segment here.
Oh yeah, you were gonna tell me about AI.
Just a couple of things. So, Adobe Photoshop, Adobe announced coming to Photoshop is a generative fill for photos using Firefly's generative AI. So essentially what you do is you have a photo. You can literally just section off. Like say you take a photo. I go outside and I take a fucking photo of like the trees out here with the sky in the background. I can go on Photoshop.
Don't dox us. Now everyone knows there's trees where we are.
Oh, fuck.
For our audio listeners, Scott was pointing out a window when he said that.
There's a window here.
Fuck, I just doxed us because now they know there's a window.
Shit.
Not that we...
But...
I mean, people know where we record.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've literally said the city we live in.
All 7 of our listeners.
Although not for me much longer.
Dox yourself.
But basically you can just select like a portion of the photo. Like if I went out, if I took a picture and I could select like a portion of the sky.
Yeah.
I could literally go on here and type in like...
Fill it with the pussy money weed.
Yeah. Or I could put literally like the Northern Lights or something. And it would...
Yeah, that's probably more.
It would literally edit the photo seamlessly to make it look like the Northern Lights were out there. Or whatever you want.
Isn't it? Dude, I keep getting articles from Grammarly about their like use of AI for like generative text for emails and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like it's being incorporated now, right? Like
yeah. Well, that's like with this new Photoshop, like I think it was Beeple. I don't know if you know Beeple, the artist, big like.
He used to make all the Flash videos.
He makes he makes like a lot of NFT art. He was like making art into NFTs and shit like before it became a thing.
I'm pretty sure he's like the Newgrounds Flash player guy.
It might be. He does a lot of like songs. Pretty surrealist, like very CGI looking art. That's like pretty. Could be creepy or very out there. But he like when they announced it, he like retweeted the announcement. And he was kind of just like, yeah, this is like basically just saying it's like a game changer. Like it's going to be next to impossible. Like with how good this looks, it's going to be near impossible to tell like what is photo and what is like an AI enhanced photo.
Yeah. Well, that's what's kind of funny about me being like, yeah, you can pull up the audio of Spielberg talking about Kathleen Kennedy. Like we're very close to the point where you can't say that. You got to be like,
it's like, did he actually say that, or is this just fucking someone
is
took
this an
his
AI video of
someone took his voice and put it into made him say whatever they wanted to.
Yeah,
using some AI.
Like, I mean, Jesus, dude, I've seen like 10,000 videos recommended to me now of Arnold Schwarzenegger in like every role in every movie that's ever fucking come out. It's getting insane. In the unaired deleted first episode of this podcast where we had talked about AI, I think I had said something like within, I think 25 years, I think there will be a service for watch whatever movie you want with whichever actor you want playing whatever role you want them to play. And I think that's like right fucking there around the corner, you know? And I don't know if it's going to be like studios owning the likeness or if it's going to be like skins in a video game where you can buy the Danny DeVito skin where you can have like Danny DeVito as Gollum in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to work, but
yeah, here's like the video where you literally just all they're doing is selecting portions of a photo they took.
So it's a picture of a guy on a bike on a road, and they
literally just like wrote that they wanted the AI to put in yellow lines, and they like expand the photo as well. Line,
which looks a little weird because typically there's more than just a double yellow line in a road.
Yeah.
There's like also the outside of the roads to show you where the edge of the road is. Now there's a deer. Oh fuck, I was too slow, but they put the deer in an alleyway, and it was like a fuck. Now they're frozen lake with reflections, and they're doing it. Generative fill. They're filling it. Northern Lights.
Yeah, basically you just have a text box. You just type in whatever the fuck you want to put in there, and you have like different options too. You can just generate different options of what you're typing in there.
Yeah, like why hire an artist when you can buy a program like that? And which is funny because I was doing this in a kind of janky way, like with the art I use for our thumbnails. Well, I've only used 2 at this point. I've been using like the stereotypical, or the main thumbnail is AI art of a pipe that's I had to work with it to get it to look like something kind of interesting. I think I did another one for the episode with me and Isaac. But like it doesn't look real. You look at it for a little bit and you go, oh, this is AI generated. Like these angles aren't real. A pipe like that could not actually support itself if it was like hanging in midair like it is. And the way that like the pipe for our art kind of like blends into the smoke that's coming out of it. It looks like AI art. Whereas that right there that you just showed me looks like a photoshopped picture.
Exactly. We're getting to that point. It's just going to be like impossible to tell.
Yeah. I wish that they would hurry up and get the AI to take all the middle management positions in all these different companies so that the politicians would have to make some sort of laws around this stuff, whether that is a certain position, like companies making a certain amount of money have to employ so many like flesh bag employees, you know?
One thing I was seeing some articles and different stuff on, just mentioning how prompting is so important, and that with like the use of AI and how AI is going to become so prevalent in the workplace, learning to prompt well, and even just putting that on your resume can help you secure jobs in the future. Just being like, I know how to type really good into ChatGPT to make it do what I want. Like just being able to put that on like a resume is going to help you in the future.
For how long though? You know?
Exactly. So, because I mean, I think we'll always need humans for certain things, especially like, yes, we could heavily utilize AI, but I mean, for oiling the machines. Yeah. Well, I was like, we'll need someone to prompt them, but yeah, for how long until we finally get like
machines
advanced further
machines?
No, I think, and I've had this conversation with people at the bar. I think this culminates in, at some point, you gotta admit we're gonna have to essentially, implement a universal basic income, which people hate hearing because it's socialist.
That's libtard talk.
Yeah,
brother.
But I mean, that's what we're gonna get to. Like you're gonna get to a point where AI has overrun us so much that there's not enough jobs.
I mean, there isn't right now.
There already isn't. And that's the thing. At some point, you got to admit that. And I think it's just generally a good idea to begin with. Everyone should be afforded their basic essential needs.
I mean, and then now, all there is it's like manual labor type stuff. So like, if you wanted to make really good money right now, go into drywall. Go into carpentry. Go into any of those like specialized labor fields. Yeah. Because there's not a machine to build a wall right now. There's not a machine to.
Well, I mean, they've started to 3D print houses.
Yeah, but when your son Kyle punches a hole in the drywall because his girlfriend Bethany kissed another guy, who's going to fix that? The drywall guy.
Yeah.
Because you're not. You're the Chat GPT guy for Microsoft.
Yeah. I think between actual like manual labor jobs and like, well, I don't even know if entertainment, because we're getting to a point where like you've seen, I think we talked about it in the first stream, was like people having like streamer, they can put like Ludwig up there and like have him talking on a stream, and it's like just AI doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. At what point are you? Yeah, or the AI Seinfeld show that was like, people were like, it's weird because when you first watch it, nothing made sense, but now like towards the end there, it was like really making jokes. There was like setup and punchline. You're like, whoa.
Yeah. Nah, I think it's going to get to a point where people need to be afforded their basic essential needs in order to live. Otherwise, we're going to have a crisis on our hands unless some laws are implemented to prevent this kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are going to have a crisis on our hands because the lawmakers are going to go, no, big business has a right to enslave you. And then no one's going to stand up for us.
No, that's the point where we get the guillotines out.
Sorry, you can't behead a machine, brother.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the politicians.
No, I'm saying the machine will protect them at that point.
The business owners. Oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
That's when we'll start rolling out the dreadnoughts that don't have space marines in them. It's just full machine. And they'll say, citizens, return to your homes. And we'll say, no. And then they'll go, minigun, bwomp. And then, like, the whole street will just be a river of blood and gore and bone.
Yeah.
And you'll have to walk over the remains of your friends in order to get to your janitorial job, which is to clean the streets of the flesh and blood and bones of your former comrades.
Fair. Fair enough.
Did I start that off by saying I don't want to be a doomer?
No, you didn't.
Okay, good. Good, because we're doomers here now. Welcome to the Doomer Pipe Podcast.
I think the only other thing I had AI related was ChatGPT premium upgrade to allow web browsing, as well as Google's own chatbot called Bard, which also has web browsing. So now the AI can search the web. They can use the information that they acquire off of searching the web, which allows for more utility. Being able to be like, hey, tell me what stocks to invest in. That was the example I saw, like in a video or whatever. And ChatGPT is like, ChatGPT first comes to you and goes like, disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. And then they also like another disclaimer. They're just like, yeah, like I can't give you specific financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor. Then you'd be like, well, I'm not investing this for a project. And it's like, oh, well, that's okay then. And it just like rattles off like whatever the fuck you want to know. There's always a way around. There's always loopholes or whatever to get around. Like if it's trying to like,
yeah,
it's trying to not cause like liability. But
yeah, what stocks did they say?
I don't even fucking remember.
Fuck, dude.
I mean, we can just get ChatGPT and just do it ourselves. It's $20 a month for the premium version.
What the fuck, dude?
I might start fucking around with it just to actually get some, because, you know, my company's all about automation, and they've begun downsizing due to automation. Not like a ton, but they're definitely like, they've made it so to where like metrics for having like certain amount of help at work, like certain amount of assistance or trainings or whatever, you now have to be generating more revenue to get the same amount. Like, so like basically it's just been heavily increased.
So you all were meeting the bar and then they raised the bar on you?
Yes.
Yeah. That's corporate.
Yeah. No, 100%. They went like, yeah, you have to generate this much revenue for 4 assistants. Now it's like you have to generate
you
have to generate like double that for the same amount.
My old job there, it used to be if you were upselling, right? So if you were getting people to add something to their order on 25% of the things he sold.
Yeah.
If your number was 25%, you'd get a bonus. And then once like 2/3 of the store was hitting that, they went, all right, now it's going to be 45% for this same bonus.
Jank.
Yeah. I got to admit, I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah. No, me either. Mostly, I mean, for me, it's like, it's in the regard of like, it makes my life a lot easier when I have actual help, like an actual person.
Yeah.
My thing is like, as much as you want to automate it, and as much as, I get it, automation can help save you money and whatnot, but we need like actual people and actual ears on the phone. Like,
yeah,
I'm sitting here and like, I'm having to answer the phone a lot more because we have less people helping us out on the account now. If I had more, if you didn't change those metrics, I would have people here to answer the phone to prevent me from having to waste my time answering the phone and talking to someone I shouldn't even have to talk to. Like, it should go up chain of command. I should have a trainee or someone to answer the phone and figure out if it's something important for me to deal with or not. But now I'm having to do that myself.
Yeah.
It's inefficient, in my opinion.
I feel you there, brother. I don't know if it's just like a corporate thing. Like, maybe there's certain companies that are better about it, but the just the things I used to have to deal with at my job that I left like a month ago. Anyway, the things that I had to deal with that were like what's the word for it? A gap in the knowledge, right, between what corporate knows about running a store and like what you know as a guy who spent like 10,000 hours plus in a store.
Yeah.
It's insane because you'll get these people that come in and they're like, first off, my store was like making $1 million a year at the point when I left. The average store for that company was only making about $500,000 a year.
Yeah, so like double.
And that would be good
double
for
the
them.
revenue.
Yeah, that would be good for them.
Yeah.
The new like general manager that was coming in after me was learning all this stuff for these new products and whatnot, and corporate was like, we expect each store to get about 20 of this new thing that we're putting out every day. And me and the owner both told this guy, we're like, look, dude, whatever they're telling you to order for that, you need to do at least double, okay?
Yeah.
At least double. Because if they're saying that they're going to do about 20, I'm telling you, we're going to do at least 40. And it ends up we're doing like 65 of that thing a day. Like, we were literally number one in the state for selling that thing when they had released it. It was insane. Truly insane.
There's always just like corporate. The problem is you get the big wigs who have their heads so far up their asses and they're not like on the ground. They don't know the daily struggle or like what's going on. That's exactly how this is. Like with management.
Dude, it was like that just between me and the other store owner, right? Because my store owner, there was like the local guy who had been the owner-operator for a long time. Yeah. And then there was like the money guy who had like, he's got like 10 stores or something to his name. Yeah. That guy, the guy who had like 10 stores or whatever, literally could not work the fucking line. Like, he was a fucking invalid on the line. Yeah. And you're like, why? How? Dude, there was one point where he was like, he looked at 2 orders and he said, how do you tell which one goes out first? And I went, this was like my last week or 2 there. I looked at him, I did the dog head tilt sideways, and I went, you own the store. What do you mean? How do you know which one goes out first? And I had to pull the ticket from him and be like, this one says order 76 right here on the ticket. The other one says order 77. So 76 is going to go out before 77. And on top of that, there's also a time code right here. So you can see that this order was punched in at 9:45 in the morning, whereas this one was punched in at 9:46 in the morning. So, like, there's multiple ways on each ticket to tell which one goes out first. How do you not know how this works? Like, it blew my mind.
Like those kind of people just lack fucking common sense.
Yeah, if that's the difference between, like, a guy who works the line and the owner, imagine what the difference is between, like, guy who works the line and corporate dumb fuck who's, like, making recipes or something like that, you know? Or it's just... it's a fucking cartoon, man.
Yeah. No, there's always such a disconnect. So yeah, automation.
Dissonance.
Kind of sucks.
Cognitive dissonance is what I was looking for.
There you go. But yeah, I don't really have anything else.
I got some.
What?
Drama cast. You never told me that you weren't coming to my improv show.
Oh, fuck.
Fucker. You fucking fucker.
I'm sorry.
I said, Shelby, I told Scott, and he said he was going to ask Jake. And then Scott never told me, he never said anything about whether or not he's coming. So I don't know if he's coming or not. So I don't know. He's probably not coming, though, knowing him. And then what'd you do? You abandoned me.
I know.
You abandoned me, my boy.
No, all my plans that day got scrapped because I was feeling out of it and still had to pack shit to move.
For the audio listeners, slow shake of my head.
I know.
For shame.
I'm sorry.
Send a message, you little guy.
I know.
For shame. All right, that was it for DramaCast, though.
Oh. Yeah, I don't have any drama.
What other drama could I have? Can't think of anything.
Some irrelevant news for you.
Oh, yeah?
Magic just changed
God.
the standard rotation. It's now 3 years long for standard. So
they have more sets out than they've ever had before, and they're doing a 3-year rotation for standard?
yeah.
Woo, brother.
Yeah, so they did say, and I people generally like this new rotation because they think it's going to give more continuity to standard.
They also I saw an article saying that they were going to, once a year, update the banned card list.
Oh, they haven't released it yet. It's coming out next week. There was a leak, though, and they had a hefty ban list for standard.
Well, dude, like, there was a long time where if they banned a card, you were like, whoa, they actually banned something.
Yeah.
And then sometime after Arena coming out, it was like a monthly ban list where I was like, why are they banning the fucking meta every month?
Yeah, so now this is a little different. I think this ban list is so long because, first of all, like, the standard meta has gotten... People are pretty, like, irritated with it because it just seems like everyone's playing the same fucking cards. Like, that's
the meta. That's how the meta works.
Well,
right?
but I mean, like, it's just...
Numerically, there's a deck that is better than other decks because it kicks earlier or it kicks harder earlier.
But it's gotten to a point where, like, standard's gotten stale because everyone's running the same colors because the strongest cards are, like, in the same colors. Like, Rakdos is just, like, essentially red, black, or the combo of them. Just have the strongest cards. Like, that's what everyone fucking runs right now.
Yeah. It's always going to be red.
So they were just saying, like, it's gotten stale to where...
Historically, the best decks are red decks that have... if they aren't mono red, they have a touch of red.
Yeah. I
mean,
like,
if you look at the top deck for every single set that comes out, typically it's a red deck.
I don't know. It hasn't been lately. It's been changed up. But there's just literally Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Everyone runs it in, like, all their decks. It's a saga enchantment.
Oh, never mind. I thought that was like the name of a set.
No. It's a card. It's a single card. It's a flip saga. So like you do your 3 things, and on the third one you flip it, and it becomes a creature. And it's Kikijiki. I don't know if you know Kikijiki, the legendary little goblin creature
breaker.
From the mirror breaker.
Wait, is this like a commander meta? Is that what you're talking about?
No,
Or
this
it's
is
like a
standard.
new Kiki. They got a new Kiki out.
New Kiki, yeah, they do. They got a new Kikijiki. So yeah, he's like that card is just everyone runs it. Same with Shieldred for black, which fucking hate that card. I absolutely hate.
Is this a new Shieldred?
Yes, 4 drop. So 2 generic, 2 black, and then.
Correct me. What was the old Shieldred? It had something to do with sacrificing stuff.
Yeah, it was at the beginning of your upkeep or something. Every player sacrifices a creature, and then like at your end step or something, you get to bring a creature back from your graveyard.
That's right.
So like you just make everyone sacrifice a creature, then you get to bring a creature back.
The most annoying thing that ever happened within our personal little play group was me joking that the only thing stronger than a murder was a forced sacrifice, then Jake making it the meta for all of his black decks to be full-on sacrifice everything decks.
Yeah.
To the point where like you couldn't play games anymore.
New Shieldred, 4 drop, a 4/5 with Death
Jake,
Touch.
if you ever listen to this specifically, fuck you.
And whenever you draw a card,
you,
you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. So all that in a 4 drop. So
Sorry, read it again.
It's a 4/5 with Death Touch.
Yeah.
Whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life.
Okay, that's a classic black effect.
It is, but it's just like it got super irritating in the meta, especially because it's a 4-drop 4/5 with Death Touch. So it's just like there's not
a 4-drop 4/5 is already a very strong card.
That's the issue. Is like
is that a mythic?
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
if you're playing
that's on par for what a mythic should be.
If you're playing red though, it's just like there's no easy way to get rid of it. Your burn spells don't kill it. Basically the only
play red black and do
removal.
A Death Touch burn.
Yeah. That's essentially why the meta was heavily black red.
Exile.
To the point where like these cards are so strong, they're being played in like Pioneer and Modern. Like they've become part of the meta for like these other more eternal formats.
Yeah, I mean there's power creep. I mean people complain about the power creep in Magic all the time. Like, oh, this came out and it's broken.
Yeah.
I gotta admit, I got no sympathy or empathy or none of that for Magic players. You get what you deserve, and you're getting a company that is beating off with your tiers. So if you
lubing up with it.
Supporting Hasbro, then you fucking do that, you cretins.
I've been having a good time. There is a new card game that came out, which actually I'm thinking of getting the starter decks or potentially a booster box.
What's it called?
Sorcery. Contested Realm. I just think
I haven't seen a lot of like TCGs coming out.
Yeah.
I was getting
but I mean like I think you'll enjoy it because it's classic. Like they have Frank Frazetta in this. Like it for the art.
They got Frank Frazetta?
Yeah, so it's like this art is just like I mean it's on another level.
They're gonna get sued. Their cards look too much like
there you go.
Their cards look too much like Magic.
They're just like they look good. Way better art than Magic right now.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I don't like the like standardized Magic art.
Oh yeah, not a fan. Yeah, I mean, yeah. You look at like the whole list; they just have so much good artwork for all their cards.
I do like that it looks a little closer to like 70s fantasy.
That's what they were going for. They wanted. I was reading up on like their concept of like the game, and it's like they heavily wanted to go with like a classic fantasy feel to the game. It's also played completely differently from like Magic. There's like, I'll have to look back into it, but there's like, you have like a set game board almost like you play on. Like it's like like you have like zones and stuff that are functional.
Yeah, like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Kind of. It's more like you like establish, it's contested realms, like you establish like your own realm or something. There's like something about like connecting them together. I don't know.
Like Plane Chase.
But it's $40 for the 4 starter decks.
That's not bad.
It's not. And then I think it's like $150 for a booster box though. Which is kind of steep, but
yeah, but how many cards is that?
I'm not sure. Let's see. Because I did. I don't know. I do kind of want to get some.
Because if it's like, I don't know. That's about what Magic is, you know. Because a lot of the starter decks for Magic aren't like $10 anymore. They're like, what, 25?
Yeah.
35? Tell you what, back in the day, I'm pretty sure I bought my first deck for $15.
Yeah.
I remember at the...
Well, apparently the website that is the only online retailer for this, it's like down right now.
Oh. Popular. I remember like, what was it, Borders Bookstore or something like that? I can't remember. And
oh shit, they had Becca Scott out here doing the how to play the game.
I love her.
I know.
Wait, how do you know?
Because we've had this conversation before.
Have we?
Because I also love her.
Bro. If she said hi to me, I would break up with my girlfriend to try to marry her.
God damn. That's intense.
She, for real, she is by far one of the funniest role players I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Absolutely unhinged. You still trying to find how many cards are in a booster box?
Whoa. I think the website worked this time. There it is. Okay.
Oh, shit.
Sorcery TCG.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
booster box
Yes.
is
Shaking my head. Nodding my head.
I don't know. It doesn't say on here.
Jesus fucking Christ. What a waste of my time. What a waste of my time. You know what I've been playing lately?
What?
Well, first of all, one might say
36 booster packs.
36 booster packs. Okay, so that's like a standard booster box.
It is.
Is it 15 card packs?
That I can't see. It does not say.
Oh my God.
Hold on.
Jamie, pull that up. You get that? Because we're making a podcast. I made a podcast joke because Joe Rogan has a Jamie and Jamie pulls things up. And so I said, Jamie, pull things up.
15 card booster pack.
Yeah, okay.
You get, and so their whole things are like 10. So you have 10 ordinary cards, 3 exceptional cards, and 1 elite or unique card. So it's same as Magic, whereas ordinaries are common, exceptionals are uncommon, elites are rare, unique's probably your mythic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. Nope. I think I'll at least get the it's like this is considered their beta edition.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll at least get their
Yeah, try to get whatever
Recon
their
decks.
Black Lotus is going to be.
Exactly. That'd be sweet. Fuck.
And then hope that 30 years from now they don't do a reprinting of it that's real fucking cheap. But,
they do already have like their first expansion set ready. Good, which is going to be Arthurian Legends.
cool. That's cool.
So, I'm down with it. I think I want to give it a try.
Like
Magic
to see,
Magic sometimes fucking wears on me.
A Green Knight, a nice Lancelot.
Yeah.
A
So, It's the art. The art, I have a lot of respect for the fact that, like, they're going for that feel with the art.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Arthurian Legend is like a good first
Because my thing is, like,
set for them.
you look at these cards, and these cards, Magic would be like, yeah, these are our full art, borderless, special edition cards you can get in the collector's booster pack
This
for
card
$23.
This card would be $1.35 rather than 13 cents.
Yeah. But yeah. That's all I got.
Yeah, I've been playing, maybe you've heard of it. It's a little franchise called Fallout. I've been playing Fallout New Vegas.
Oh, yeah?
You ever play Fallout New Vegas?
I think I played a little bit. Not a lot.
Yeah. I wish it would stop crashing. Other than that, though, I had watched, I don't know why I watched this. I think I had a medication-induced nap one day while I was, like, watching YouTube on the TV, and it just, like, auto-played into, like, a 3-hour video essay on Fallout New Vegas.
Huh.
And I, like, woke up in the middle of it and just kept watching, and it just made me want to play the game. So I've had it for forever. I don't know. I don't think I've ever, like, fully played through it, just because I get, like, choice paralysis or whatever that shit's called, where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, do I want to join the NCR or do I want to join Kaiser's Legion, you know? And then you got all the little NCR nerds who are like, Caesar's just bad boy. But then all the legionaries run up to you and they're like, Kaiser. And I don't know. I just like that Roman dudes running around shooting people in the desert of Las Vegas,
Yeah.
Nevada. That's kind of cool. That's a cool idea. And specifically, I guess for New Vegas, it's not the same people who made like Fallout 3 and 4. It's the people who made the original Fallout games, 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And I guess they were like more true to the like classic lore than the people for like 3 and 4 were. So I've just had, I think because I watched that video, like a little more appreciation of the different interactions I've had in the game. I also think the last time I tried to play this was maybe around the time I played 4 for the first time. So it's a pretty jarring feeling. It's pretty different from 4. And I think having that separation, I'm able to go into this like older system and appreciate it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've been doing that. What kind of build do you typically go for in those games?
I couldn't even tell you. I don't remember the last time I played one. It's been a minute.
Not even like an Elder Scrolls or something like that, huh? What's the last game you played, little guy? This is me sitting on the judge's stool, looking down at you, and you're like the one guy in the court. And I pull at the side of my mustache that naturally pushes itself out rather than growing straight down, and I go, little guy, hey little feller, what game do you play? What's your go-to game?
It's been too long.
Just Magic, huh?
Yeah, that's basically it.
You read Dune yet?
Nope.
Coward. Craven.
That's on the
Yellow
list.
Belly.
I know. I've been busy.
I used to listen to books all the time whenever I was driving, right? So on Sundays I'd do like a big 3 or 4 hour drive because usually the Sundays whenever Shelby was working. And since I don't have that anymore, I haven't really been like listening to books as often. And the other night I was like, you know what? I'm a cool guy. I'm going to take a bath. So I took a bath and I played an audiobook, and I just chilled there in the tub with my knees up because I don't fit in the fucking tub. My knees are out of the water. My elbows are up on the sides of the tub. And I was like listening to my audiobook. And it was probably 15 minutes straight of just tech talk for the Gaunt's Ghosts because they were doing a drop zone assault kind of thing. So they're like flying in on these bodunk ships that are they sound like World War II prop bombers, like a B-52 bomber that's like barely holding together. And also super fucking cold, and the atmosphere on this planet is toxic. So they've got like all this extra kit that they wouldn't normally have. And just everyone is like on edge because of it. God, man, I fucking love that series. I know I say this, I think every time, but just I'm so into it that just hearing what their fucking kit is for the mission that they're going on is exciting to me.
Fair.
Yeah. But yeah, I just been like chilling at home a lot, and I keep watching these video essays, and some of these guys are like, here's my 9-hour video on Skyrim, and I'm like, what kind of fucking psychopath makes a 9-hour video with the word retrospective in the fucking title?
Yeah.
Where you're like, dude, that's more than a work day. You go to work at 8 in the morning, get home at 5 or leave at 5. Yeah, an hour lunch. That's 9 hours, man. You're crazy. All right. I think that's it, though. I just want to complain about 9-hour YouTube video essays. Because they're good, too. It's just fucking annoying.
That's some people's... Some people go for quantity over quality.
That's the thing, is that they are quality.
Well, I guess they go for both. They go for
in-depth analysis, and they do it, and they talk about so many different things that, like, a normal person would make each topic a different video, right?
Yeah.
But they're just like, here's my 9-hour all-inclusive video on Skyrim. And you're like, oh, okay. It's a 2-parter, actually. Here's the first 9 hours. The second 9 hours will be coming out next week. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm done. I'm going to go home.
Well, if you made it this far, thank you for listening to another episode of Bad Pipes with Andrew Weaver.
That's me.
And Scott Kelly.
That's him.
Thank you to our usual suspects.
Thanks to Kyle for being a dude, and thanks to Kyle's dad for setting all the podcast stuff up for us, and thanks to Kyle Casey and White Bat Audio we're using his music still, and we probably I enjoy this music.
Oh yeah,
has been good.
It is good.
I keep wondering if it's loud enough, though. So if you actually listen to this podcast and you get to this point and you hear me talking about the music, either leave a comment on Podbean or find me on Facebook. My name is Andrew Weaver. Or look me up on Twitter, which is, I think, CryptidWorks Whitey. And then, what else do I have?
Also, subscribe to our Patreon.
We don't have a Patreon. But if you want us to have a Patreon so that you can give us money, I guess let us know that. So
also, this episode is dedicated to Ray Stevenson. May he rest in peace.
My boy.
Thank you for listening.
God, that really did. I read that for the first time this morning at 11:30 and was just actually upset about it.
Yeah, not fun. I saw it while I was at work.
Well, Bye bye. Love you. Good night.